Sonic the Hedgehog stands out as an example of how to build upon something that's already good. Incidentally, he's also one of the worst examples. But the fact is, if you pick any decade since 1991, you'll find fans who like that version of Sonic the best.
You guys are the ones who ruined Sonic for everyone!
So with that rich history in mind, today I'm going to be ranking every English voice that Sonic the Hedgehog has ever had. Behold, the chili dog graph of Sonicness. With every voice we discuss today, I'll judge it based on the following criteria. Number 1, character consistency. Sonic's voice should match his established personality at the time. And second, performance. Is it authentic? Is there an emotional range? Does it help the environment and the story? And of course, bonus points will be given for style and originality, but only if you collect 50 rings, jump into a bonus stage, and Tails, for the love of chaos, stop losing your rings! Much like a classic family sitcom, this story begins with Jaleel White, who voiced Sonic the Hedgehog all the way back in 1993, and he did so in 3 different animated TV series: The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sonic Underground. Take a listen to Jaleel's performance.
Toss me the old onion, Aunt. Chill, Roomie. You can have another helping. Oh, forgot to tell you. Watch that first step.
His Sonic could really move, had an attitude, and absolutely radiated fastest thing alive. When I was 7, I thought that this version of Sonic was the coolest thing to ever happen since superhero pajamas. Jaleel White was adamant about making Sonic the Hedgehog as relatable to as many children as possible. He put a lot of thought into playing this character, and if you watch this interview with him, it shows.
I really wanted to make him just like, of no race. So when you listen to Sonic, I don't think you even get an impression that, it was like, is he black, is he white, is he surfer, is he whatever? No, instead he's just hero, just fast.
To Jaleel, Sonic wasn't just an anthropomorphic rodent. And because of that, just like how Spider-Man could be anybody under the mask, Sonic could be anybody under the quills. While the emotion and the range might fall a bit flat sometimes, mostly because of the simple writing, his voice fits with and adds to the shows very well. While Jaleel White's Sonic might be a bit dated for today's audience, it still holds a special place in the hearts of 90s kids. Now let's take a look at a much more interesting take on Sonic. Just a fair warning, what you're about to see may change your view on Sonic forever. There was an incredibly cursed Sega commercial that aired in 1994, which featured epilepsy-inducing flashes, a terrifying Sonic voice, and a jump scare at the end. To get the toddlers involved. But the worst part of this commercial was definitely Sonic's voice.
Hey kid, what you doing watching this stupid film? Don't you want to have fun playing Sega?
Sega? Sega who?
Wrong answer, pal.
Why does he sound like that? I don't want to go too deep into the rabbit hole that is Sega commercials, but I think that this one is by far the most... So I'm gonna gingerly tuck this voice away at the bottom of the list, and let these comments I found on fandom.com explain why. Sonic sounds like a drunken vocoder SpongeBob.
That is not Roger Craig Smith.
Sega! Edited by Huggy Wuggy. Sonic's video game debut was performed by Masato Nishimura, a designer at Sega. In Sonic CD, he was responsible for the infamous Infinite Fun image, and he provided the voice for Sonic.
Yes! Yeah! Alright! I'm out of here!
The hardest thing about this voice is there's a very limited range, which makes it hard to judge his performance compared to some of the other actors in the franchise. So with all of those factors in mind, I would probably rank him in the middle of the chili dog graph of Sonicness. His Sonic is a little bit surface level, and while I think it's good, it just lacks a little bit of depth. Let me introduce you to Sonic Schoolhouse, a happy little game for happy little kids. Wrong! This game is the nightmare fuel that I personally credit the horrors of Baldi's Basics to. If you thought this movie was scary as a kid, you should play this game. But after some research, it turns out this is just a happy little game for happy little kids. And it's totally unlike any other game that Sonic has ever been in.
Hi there, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. You're going to play in my schoolhouse. If you've ever got a problem, find me and I'll help.
It doesn't scream Sonic to me, but it does scream educational-friendly voice for a game meant for children. It's friendly, it's cheerful, it's inoffensive. It's just not the fast protagonist we're used to. I'm giving this voice bonus points for its uniqueness, and while it definitely doesn't remind me of Sonic, it does match the vibe of the game, which, now that I think about it, might not be a good thing. In Sonic Underground, Sam Vincent voiced Sonic alongside Jaleel White. He specifically performed Sonic's singing voice in the show, and after listening to a bunch of songs,
hey, come on, everybody, come and have some fun. Dance to the fiddle till the morning comes.
This voice just isn't great. While his singing is a lot better than my own, it can just sound a bit whiny at times, which doesn't really sound like Sonic. Did you know that Sonic the Hedgehog had a movie in the late 90s? This was news to me. Apparently, Martin Burke voiced Sonic in a 2-part Japanese video animation. And after checking it out, this Sonic voice also gets points for its originality. It genuinely sounds unlike all the other voices in this list. Take a listen.
That's a funny way to thank us. That's a dirty trick, Robotnik. You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
I know this is a hot take, but overall, I feel like this voice fits classic Sonic very well. I could take a look at this little guy, and if he sounded like this,
Yeah, let's go.
it would make sense. My biggest disconnect with the show is with some of the writing, like how Metal Sonic has a redemption arc, or how this clip that's completely out of context sounds today.
Help me, Daddy!
As far as you know, Sonic has a daughter. I guess you have to watch the film yourself now. Haha! All in all, this voice is pretty good. There's a brightness and almost a childlike quality to his voice, and I can't help but wonder what he would have sounded like in a video game. The voices we've talked about so far are all very unique. Sonic didn't have an official voice for like 10 years, but as we transition from classic Sonic to modern Sonic, Sega starts to understand what they want for the character, which means the best voices are yet to come. Ryan Drummond's portrayal of Sonic the Hedgehog is considered by many to be the most iconic in the franchise. He voiced Sonic in some very notable games, including Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Heroes, and Sonic Battle.
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog!
Drummond captured Sonic's youthful energy and attitude perfectly. You can tell he had a lot of fun playing the part. Additionally, his Sonic was very consistent, which helped solidify his voice as the voice for an entire generation of fans. And while Sonic is often portrayed as cool and confident, he also delivered an emotional depth when needed. There are just 2 things that Ryan's Sonic is missing. Number 1, he was limited by the technology of his time. Many of his performances sound a bit dated by today's standards.
I found you, faker!
Additionally, his portrayal of Sonic sometimes has a nasal quality to it, which not everybody resonates with. On the Chili Dog graph of Sonicness, Ryan Drummond ranks very high. His voice was a perfect match for Sonic during the days of the Dreamcast and the early 2000s. He embodied the character's adventurous spirit, coolness, and reliability. For many fans, Drummond's voice is the definitive Sonic, and his influence is still felt in how Sonic is portrayed today. Jason Griffith's Sonic is a key chapter in the character's history. He voiced Sonic in several notable games and in the Sonic X anime series. Jason Griffith was my Sonic as a kid. I thought his games were so much fun. I didn't know any better. I saw dinosaurs, I thought it was really cool. His Sonic was a bit more mature and balanced, which worked well for story-driven games like Sonic 06 or Sonic and the Black Knight. Here's what he sounded like.
The S team, eh? The S must stand for slow motion.
He seems pretty hungry.
Elise, just smile.
First, I'm going to give some credit to his versatility. His transition from more lighthearted and happy media to the darker and more serious media was very effective. But despite this, his Sonic has been very divisive among fans. While many appreciate his more mature take, lots miss the youthful energy and attitude from the previous actors. His voice is almost like a bridge between the youthful Sonic of the 90s to the more polished and consistent voices that followed. It may not be as nostalgic for some fans, but for others, and myself included, his Sonic is memorable and impactful. Roger Craig Smith took over as Sonic in 2010, becoming the longest-serving English voice actor for the character. He's been in a wide range of Sonic media, including lots and lots of games and the Sonic Boom series, which I could make a 2-hour documentary on. This show is hilarious. I'm sure you're probably familiar with his voice, but I'll play a couple of clips just in case.
Not another speeding ticket.
You tracked the Chaos Emeralds here, right? Let's find out what drew them here.
So, what's your favorite color? Do you like long, romantic walks on the beach? What's the source of your power?
Roger's voice is consistent, professional, and versatile, able to appeal to longtime fans and newcomers. The only weakness is that it's a very safe interpretation. It lacks some of the edge and doesn't take risks the same way previous voices did. However, it is a good voice, and it's become iconic for a reason. On the chili dog graph of sonicness, I would also rank it very high. His portrayal has helped solidify Sonic's identity from 2010 onward. He's a reliable Sonic who has carried the character through many different adventures, and has done so very well. Ben Schwartz has done a really good job with taking Sonic to the big screen. He's brought back some of the playfulness and youthfulness of classic Sonic and merged it with the polish and range of modern Sonic.
But that's okay. You're going to a safe world. A nice safe world full of mushrooms.
He balances Sonic's trademark cockiness with moments of genuine emotion, especially in scenes where Sonic feels isolated or is trying to find his place in the world. The big issue is that this movie's modernization of the character may alienate some of Sonic's biggest fans. But even so, Schwartz's Sonic is already iconic, and will be for years to come. And finally, Devin Mack voiced Sonic in Sonic Prime, bringing a fresh energy to the character. Here's how he sounds.
Eggman. Yawn. Yep, I yawned you, Eggman. Got a little sidetracked.
Mack's voice feels modern and displays a clear understanding of Sonic's character. His enthusiasm for the role is evident, capturing a strong connection with the material. I would have personally liked to see more emotional depth, but his high energy and distinct personality makes him stand out. As you can see from the completed chili dog graph of Sonicness, turning Sonic into who he is today has been a big process. But despite it all, just like Jaleel White wanted, Sonic can be a hero to anyone.